What's up, guys? My name is Angelo, and welcome to Geloman MMA. Kamaru Usman is wanting to fight Conor McGregor. I'm gonna talk about that matchup in this video today. I just watched this thing on YouTube. I think it was from 2 weeks ago, but it was Kamaru Usman. I forget what the channel was, but he was walking around, and the guy videotaping him was, they were talking about his regimen, his workout regimen, his workout, his diet, and his house, and they're just talking about that. And in that video, Kamaru Usman was making references to Conor McGregor, and I don't know what it is about that. I think he's trying to. I honestly believe that Kamaru Usman wants the Conor McGregor fight, and I don't know. There's something about that fight that makes sense, and I'm gonna talk about that fight today. So, of course, I'm a huge Conor McGregor fan. So anything I say, it's kind of biased, but I try to look at it from both sides of the spectrum. I'm a fan of Kamaru Usman as well, but I've been a diehard McGregor fan from when he first fought in the UFC, when he fought Max Holloway, and when he got Dennis Seaver. I mean, I remember watching those fights when it was on free television. Now we have to fucking pay $70 to watch Conor McGregor fight, but it is what it is. I don't mind paying that. But Kamaru Usman has been hinting on that for quite some time now, and of course McGregor wants that fight because, see, when McGregor came into the UFC, he was all about making money and setting these goals that were just unachievable at the time. When he beat Jose Aldo, no one ever beat Jose Aldo, so that was impossible, but he knew that he can beat Jose Aldo. He wanted to his goal was to become 145 champion, and then move up to 155 and become a double champ. And once he did that, everyone started doing that. And now McGregor's driven by money, but he's also driven by big fights, and I believe legacy as well. McGregor, he lost to Dustin Poirier twice. They were both close fights. Dustin Poirier was a better fighter. Conor McGregor broke his leg the third time they fought, and this is the part where when McGregor broke his leg, it was one of those injuries where it was just like life threatening. It was like career ending. Will he ever be the same? Will he even come back again? Just the fact that he's training again, that's a huge accomplishment right there. He has proven that he can come back and he could perform, and that is gangster. Like that is such a mental thing to overcome. Breaking a leg from like that, he may not even be able to kick the same or even punch the same. But for him to keep that mental toughness to get through that's crazy in itself. And not only that, he wants to come back to fight at 170 against Kamaru Usman, who is his toughest opponent ever besides Khabib Nurmagomedov. And if you love Conor McGregor or you hate Conor McGregor, you have to at least respect that he wants to go in there and compete at 170 against Kamaru Usman, coming off a leg injury. No one that does that. Nobody comes off a leg injury and wants to fight an opponent that's like their worst nightmare. No one does that in the UFC. They always want a warm-up fight, and then they fight that. McGregor doesn't care. He fights whoever he wants, and if it's like he does that on purpose because he just wants to fight. And if you hate Conor McGregor, you have to respect that, because no one else will do that. Like, there's only a few people that would do that. Conor McGregor is one of those guys, and so that leads me to Kamaru Usman. Kamaru Usman knows that it's a payday. He understands that he has the advantage in that fight because, of course, he matches up so good against Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor's weakness, grappling. Kamaru Usman is a beast at wrestling. He is like the number one wrestler in that division, and Conor McGregor struggles with cardio. Kamaru Usman he has cardio for days, and Kamaru Usman has been active. Conor McGregor has came off of a loss. He hasn't fought in a year. He broke his leg. He's coming off a leg injury. So the deck is stacked against Conor McGregor, but rightfully so. I'm not trying to disrespect Kamaru Usman because even if Conor McGregor didn't have that leg injury, it is a tough matchup for Conor McGregor. Kamaru Usman will still have the advantage because he's just a dangerous fight. He's a dangerous fight for Conor McGregor. Now let's say the UFC would probably rather have Conor McGregor fight Nate Diaz at 170 because it's a more favorable matchup for him. So he can get the W. Everyone makes their money, and then he can fight Kamaru Usman for the title. And then Kamaru Usman can fight Leon Edwards, and if he beats him, then they can match up. Then I mean that's a possibility. But at the end of the day, if they fight each other, that pay-per-view is gonna sell a ton. It's gonna make a lot of money because number one, Conor McGregor is marketable. He can market himself. You can just put Conor McGregor on a fight card against somebody who doesn't even fight in the UFC, and that would sell a million pay-per-views. Like, that's how big of a draw Conor McGregor is. Now if you add Conor McGregor, you add Kamaru Usman, that adds another $500,000 to $700,000 pay-per-view buys. And then you add the fact that Conor McGregor is coming off of injury. Conor McGregor wants to make his history to become the first person to win a champion in all three weight classes. That is something that they can market easily, and I'm pretty sure like if the fight comes together, the first thing they're gonna do is like they're gonna show Conor McGregor breaking his leg and then coming back, and they're gonna hype it up so well. They're gonna say Conor McGregor's comeback fight against Kamaru Usman. Can he get the job done? Can he beat Kamaru Usman? Kamaru Usman is his worst matchup, and they're gonna make it all about Conor McGregor. And I can see that easily making 2 million pay-per-view buys. Like, it's gonna be huge. And then for some reason, like, what if McGregor beats Kamaru Usman? If that happens, the whole world would explode. The world will stop moving. Like, can you imagine if Conor McGregor comes back from a leg injury, his first fight, and he beats Kamaru Usman? That would be freaking insane if that were to happen. Insane, I tell you that. Insane. But let's be realistic here. As much as I love Conor McGregor as a fighter, that's the worst matchup for him. Kamaru Usman will probably just take him down and just grind him out, and he will probably just it's a tough matchup for him. But don't count on McGregor. If there's one person you shouldn't count on, it's Conor McGregor. And bro, if they make that fight, that's gonna be so exciting. Hopefully when they make that fight, I'm making a lot of money from YouTube and I can go to that fight, bro, because that fight's gonna be off the chains. It's gonna be so exciting. But yeah, but yeah, I wanted to talk about that fight in this video because I hear Kamaru Usman talking about it all the time. It's always getting brought up in his interviews. Conor McGregor's talking about it. So it is I think the UFC is considering that Kamaru Usman might take the fight. Who knows? Because he's kind of out of options right now. His two contenders are Leon Edwards and Khamzat Chimaev. If the UFC can't make those fights happen, and then McGregor's on the table, and that fight's gonna happen, they will. If it makes sense, if it makes business sense, the UFC will make it happen. If it happens, oh man, I hope it happens. But we're gonna have to wait and see. That's it for this video. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. I post content like this every single week. I talk about the UFC, I talk about matchmaking, I talk about predictions. I try to break down the fights technically sometimes, but I like talking about the mental side of the game and then the business side of the UFC. And I'm just a passionate fan wanting to share my excitement with other UFC fans out there. So that's it for this video. I'll see you guys on the next video.